Welcome to the very next episode of The Remedy with Tova Sido and
Janice Gaunt and
Tom Bridwell.
Hello.
I sure like that music.
It's so pretty.
I'm glad. Thank you.
It's very soothing.
It is.
Okay, welcome to the next week. And I want to start out this week by congratulating my co-host, Janice Gaunt. Tell us about your latest award.
Oh,
Super
well,
exciting.
it wasn't an Emmy.
Drum roll.
So, the Next Generation Indie Book Awards is the largest international awards program for indie authors and independent publishers, now celebrating its 17th year of operation for the 2024 awards year. And there are supposedly like 1,000 people that are entered into it, and in all these different categories are your book or your production or whatever is listed, and so then in each of the category there is a winner, and I was not the winner, but I was one of the 5 finalists in relationships nonfiction category.
Which is unbelievable.
Really
Janice.
awesome.
Thanks.
I mean,
Thanks.
you should be so proud of yourself.
For sure.
Well, I am really happy about it. I was shocked, and they sent me this medal and all this stuff because there's like 10,000 book enters entering into this competition. So anyway, yeah. So Prince Charming.
Well, it is a great book. And if you have not read it, I would highly recommend that you read it, that you share it with your friends, family, children. I mean, it is a phenomenal book on relationships.
Thank you, Tova.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Tom.
You deserve it.
It was real. I was shocked. I was like, really? I didn't even know it
so
had been
exciting.
entered. So,
and you got a little award in the mail?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Thanks. Thank you.
Super excited for you.
Thank you.
Not surprising, but all still still so fun.
I know. I was really excited
Well,
about
it's just
it.
really nice to be recognized for your hard work.
Yeah.
That was a
Thank you.
big job that you did.
Yeah.
That book.
No more.
No.
No more.
Well, I loved the book, and
Well, thank you,
I think
Tova.
it
Thank you,
deserves
Tom.
it.
Thanks.
Heck yeah. We have another anonymous sponsor this week of The Remedy. We had somebody give a very generous donation, and they said it was from her and her daughter, and they said, please make it anonymous. So
Thank you so much.
we can't say who, but you know who you are.
and we appreciate you.
Very much, very much. Okay, today we're going to have a really fun conversation on 5 lessons from the movie Inside Out 2 that we can all learn from. So I found this call on a post from a person that I follow called The Brain Coach.
Yeah.
And they said a few days ago, I watched Inside Out 2, which is a movie, and it was full of very important lessons about our emotional health. I was fully geeking out throughout the movie and couldn't wait to talk about it with you guys. So in this post, I wanted to share my key takeaways. So these are the 5 lessons. So have y'all seen this movie?
Yes.
I don't know that I have.
Well, you would know because it's out right now in the theaters.
It is?
It's the sequel to
Inside Out
it's a
1.
sequel. And honestly, the first one was great too, but this one was really cool.
Is it like a
It's a cartoon.
Cartoon?
Yeah.
Yeah. I did see the first one.
It's got Amy Poehler
Brilliant.
as the
Yeah.
lead star. She's
Yeah.
the lead voice, and this year they added some new characters, one of which we mentioned in the last episode when you guys talked about sarcasm.
Yeah.
In that last episode of our podcast, I remember thinking, oh yeah, we're going to be able to talk about the sarcasm character in the new movie.
Yeah.
Oh, fun.
She was hilarious.
That's hilarious.
That was one of the best parts of the movie to me.
Okay, I have to watch it.
Yeah.
You will love, I mean, if you liked Inside Out 1.
Yeah.
But I think it's just, I mean, people hear cartoon and they're like, why are you? I mean, I took my boys who are 20 and 19 to go see it. And
you actually went to the theater?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And we all loved it. I mean, absolutely. It's just smart. It's thought-provoking. It's really, what did you like about it, Tom?
I just kind of think, it's definitely something when you're raising a child, it's like a helpful movie. I don't know. Betty really enjoyed it. And this second, the second one was more her speed anyway, because the girl in the movie is kind of reaching adolescence. And so
she's grown up a little
like
bit.
Teenager, maybe she's 12 or 13. And so she's kind of growing up and dealing with
all the voices in her head.
Yeah, voices in her head, and she has kind of like some anxiety, and she's trying to like fit in. And there was just like a lot of themes that Betty can definitely learn from.
Yeah, I love that.
But adults too.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
I have heard several people who've gone to see it, and it's actually brought them to tears because they feel so understood by the character of anxiety. So this little girl has all these different emotions in her head, and each emotion is a character, and they're kind of waging war in her mind.
Oh, I love it.
Like joy always wants to be in a good mood, and let's calm down. And anger's like, you know. And so it's kind of the battle that we all go through
in our heads,
in our minds. And so it's a brilliant movie. And I think it's really well done. And I really liked these 5 lessons. So do you want to read the first one?
Sure. The company you keep matters. When you're with the right people, you can truly be yourself and feel safe. There's no need to shrink yourself or put up a facade. These connections build your self-esteem and dramatically improve your life. Conversely, when you're around people with whom you have to be cautious about what you say or do, it can worsen anxiety and lead to feelings of isolation. Constantly filtering yourself can be emotionally exhausting and prevent you from forming genuine connections. I absolutely love that.
So the reason, I guess, if y'all haven't seen this movie, this one pertains to the girl is trying to make the high school hockey team, and she has 2 friends that have come up with her
that are real
and
good friends.
She sort of puts them on hold so that she can hang out and befriend the already good stars on the hockey team. Like she's kind of sucking up to the upperclassmen that are already on the team more than she's hanging out with her.
She kind of disses her friends.
Yes. And so that's basically, so she's pretending, she's definitely putting up a facade, and she's kind of isolating her old friends and feeling the guilt of that.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think that this is true no matter how old you are.
I agree.
That the people that we surround ourselves with have a huge impact on the quality of our life.
Yep.
And I think that if you have to tiptoe, or you have to be nervous, or you have to totally watch what you say all the time, or you're afraid you're going to get into trouble. Like I remember when I was dating a guy in California, and this was years ago. And I mean, when I was in my 20s, and I literally was always in trouble. and one of the things that made me break up with him after 2 years of dating him was one of my very best friends, who's still one of my very best friends, said, "Oh God, are you in trouble again?" And I was like, "Yeah, I am."
Oh, because the guy would get annoyed with you?
He would get mad at me. I was always in trouble. I was always doing something that got me in trouble. Like one night we were in Southern California. We all of our friends went to LA for the weekend. This was at the height of Friends. And we were at the House of Blues and with like 10 of our best friends. And we look down and we see, what's the guy who died in Friends? Matt Chandler. Who's Chandler?
Chandler.
Perry.
Matthew Perry.
Matthew Perry.
Matthew Perry and David Schwimmer were downstairs at the height of Friends. And to me, this was like, okay, the next person that's walking in is Jennifer Aniston. Like, that's just the story I told myself. So I grabbed my best friend, Carrie, and ran downstairs. I mean, I was probably 25, 26. And to get close to David Schwimmer and them, the two of them. And my boyfriend did not talk to me for like 3 days. I mean, he punished me just because I ran down there to get close to them. Like, so dumb. And I mean, we sat outside of our hotel room fighting about that for like 4 hours. Then he ignored me all weekend. It's like, that's the dumbest thing in the world. Like, I was always in trouble.
Yeah.
Walking
so you
on
had to
eggshells.
navigate, and you couldn't be legit.
No, I was always bobbing and weaving.
You know, I can remember being that way in high school. Well, starting in junior high, because I started running for cheerleader in junior high, and I was running for cheerleader all the time, everywhere I went. Hi, how are you? Oh, you look so pretty. Oh, you're so nice. All of that stuff.
Vote
and
for
all
me.
of that.
Vote for me.
Yeah,
Vote
I mean,
for me.
I was just. It was like a pretend me, and it was so exhausting.
Yeah.
Because I was just needing to vote. I needed a vote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you're bobbing and weaving and you cannot be your authentic self because you want to be okay and you want them to be okay and you need the votes, whoever's vote it is, like, get out of those relationships.
I know. They're so
Well, when she
exhausting.
said that really had a big impact on me. I was like,
Yeah.
shit. I mean, I still remember it. Like, I kind of am always in trouble.
Yeah. Yeah. That's just terrible.
I'm too old to get into trouble.
No, you can't get into trouble. You can go to prison.
You can go to prison.
I'm not worried about you getting there.
Okay, who wants to take the next one?
I will.
Okay.
All our emotions are meant to be felt. Our emotions serve a purpose, even the ones we perceive as difficult or negative. For example, anxiety can keep us accountable when we want to accomplish a goal. It gives us that push we need to keep moving forward. But if we don't keep our anxiety in check and let it take over the control panel, that is when it becomes problematic for our health and quality of life.
Yeah.
Amen.
That's basically what the movie is. Like, the main set is the control panel of the girl's brain. You know, it's like, and they're all at this big console, like a mixing board in a studio, and each of
trying
the
to
characters,
fight
each of the
for
emotions
a
are like
space.
kind of fighting over the desk. And so if she's happy, then that means Joy is at the desk running the controls. And then
that's
if
really
she gets
good.
mad, they show the anger guy comes in and knocks Joy out of the way, and he starts running the controls. And it's really funny, but
So is that still at the theaters? Oh,
Yes.
I gotta go. I gotta take my grandchildren.
It's really cute.
yeah,
And it's just
it's really serious.
It's really fun to talk about.
Yeah,
after I had
for
a
sure.
good conversation with my boys. You know, especially because my boys don't like. I'm sure Betty is entering this position where she's feeling all her feelings, and my boys have always tried really hard to feel none of their feelings.
Yeah, because they're boys.
Yes, because
Yeah.
they're boys. And, you know, Mom, I don't want to talk about that. Mom, it didn't bother me at all. I'm like, that's such BS. Like, and so I really liked this one too, for probably different reasons than you liked it, Tom, for Betty. Yes, all of our emotions do add value, but keeping them in their rightful place is really important.
Yeah,
it's funny. I hear people say this all the time. Like, you'll hear somebody go, well, I just feel bad. Like, I just feel bad that they're not getting to do this thing, or we left this person out, or I said something, or they heard something. And sometimes I want to tell that person, don't feel bad. And other times I want to be like, yeah, feel that so you'll change.
Yeah, exactly.
It's really true. It's really true.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Although I really, really, really I hate the feeling of anxiety. I don't engage in that one.
Yeah,
that's
I
not
really
a motivator
don't,
for me.
I don't have anxiety. I really don't.
I don't either. But even if I did, I would hate it. I
would hate it too.
Yeah, that would not be motivating for me.
No, it would be really. I mean, people who really have anxiety disorders, it's
debilitating.
It really is.
It really breaks my heart for
I know,
people who
me
have a
too, Tova.
hard time regulating their anxiety.
There's a scene in the movie too where the girl is like, she gets a couple of penalties out on the ice and she goes into the penalty box and she like, they do a really good job with the animation and the sound to make it like they're showing you that she's having a panic attack. She's starting to ramp up into this panic attack. And I was really, I kept looking over at Betty like while this scene was happening, because I know that she has had a few, I don't know if she knows what they are, but there have been nights where she goes to bed like completely freaking out about something, and Maureen and I will, like, she has a camera in her room still from like when she was a kid, when she was a baby, and we've never really taken that Nest Cam out of Betty's room. We don't spy on her, but we just left that in there.
Yeah.
And there have been times where, you know, we've had like a long talk, or she just went to bed after a fight or where she got in trouble, and we'll like turn the camera on to make sure that she's still in bed, and she'll be like talking herself down.
Oh, that's really cute.
And
that's
it's really
good.
It's really nuts. Like, because I remember when I was a kid, I
adorable.
never did stuff like that. I never like spoke out loud by myself.
Like,
in a
what
room.
kinds of stuff does she say, if you don't mind sharing?
Just, you know, just like telling herself that she needs to work on this, or she a lot of times will say that tomorrow's going to be better. Sometimes she prays, you know, it's just crazy. But there, you know, maybe 1 or 2 times a year maybe it's more like 1 or 2 times a quarter, we'll hear her like talking to herself.
I love it.
And I think that it truly like
It's adorable.
it's because she's like keeping herself from having a panic attack.
Which leads perfectly into the next one. The way you speak to yourself matters. If you consistently put yourself down with thoughts like, I'm not good enough, or criticize your efforts by saying that was so stupid of me, you'll eventually start to believe those things, even if they're not true. Conversely, if you speak kindly to yourself, like I did the best I could with what I knew then, and acknowledge your achievements by saying, I'm proud of myself for trying something new, this positive self-talk will gradually become the voice that guides your emotions and your actions.
Yeah.
I mean, how evolved of her, Tom. She's
Totally.
What, 9, 10?
Yeah, she's 9, and she's gotten some help. She goes to therapy like once a month. And I think she's learned a lot of this talking to herself from that therapist.
Well, that's incredible, which also speaks to this idea that I don't think you can ever, one, get too much self-help, and I think it's trending earlier and earlier. And I think kids and teenagers are so much smarter and so much more evolved than a lot of people give them credit for. They're intuitive.
You know, it's also the way you speak to yourself matters. That's throughout your entire lifespan.
Heck yeah.
When I was in probably 5th grade, so I grew up in Lubbock, and there was too much fluoride. I lived in Brownfield first, and I had brown stain on my front teeth, and the kids would tease me and say, Janice smokes cigarettes. Janice smokes cigarettes. You know, in middle school, I started smoking.
You're like, at least I'll make it true.
Yeah, exactly. But it was so painful. I can remember just crying, and it was it was just they influenced so much how I thought about myself. And that matters. And it matters a lot to adults too. Because we are not kind to ourselves. A lot of people really struggle with it.
No matter how old they are, just that self-talk is, and changing those pathways is vital.
It really is
critical to positive mental state and positive mental health. I also think, piggybacking onto this, I think it's really important how we talk to other people.
Oh yeah.
I have said to Carter all the time, because he can just be kind of careless sometimes with his words. He just throws it out there, kind of slings it. He's always been the captain of every team, and he's always kind of been big man on campus and in charge, and he's always the challenger. People don't really challenge him. And he's a natural born leader. And I'm like, it would be so much more meaningful if you went about your words in a different way to these people.
Yeah.
And I mean, the way anybody speaks to me matters to me.
Well, and the thing is we can speak to ourselves and say, you are enough. Or we can speak to ourselves and say, you are way better than everybody else. And that can be as harmful as not having that self-confidence to say, I am enough. And so I think I just love that. The way you speak to yourself matters.
It really, really, really matters.
Yeah, it does.
I think this is probably one of the most important lessons you can learn in life.
Yeah, me too.
How about you take the next one?
Okay. Even the happiest person gets sad sometimes. Life is not always filled with joy. It's natural to feel sadness sometimes. Sometimes it is beneficial to have a positive outlook, but being too optimistic all the time can lead to toxic positivity, which is when you dismiss or invalidate real feelings of sadness or struggle, creating an unrealistic expectation to always be happy. I think that is great because those people that are always zippity-doo-dah. Yep. Yeah, it's just, we have got to feel the opposite. We've got to be able to feel your sadness and talk about it and weep about it and all of that.
And have a safe space to have a bad day.
Yeah.
And have a bad moment or be down or be in a tough season.
Yeah.
People who are like this in my life, I can't be close with them. Because I'm never going to tell them about my bad day because they're only going to tell me why I shouldn't be having that bad day.
Oh, but you have this and this and this and this rather than
all your blessings.
Oh my gosh, I hate that. I hate it for you, but I'm glad you're feeling it and you're talking about it.
I think this is a really big problem with Christians and with overly religious people.
Oh, if you're godly, you'll have a smile on your face.
Yep. And you'll trust and you won't be sad
or scared
because peace surpasses all understanding. And didn't you read the passage that says, do not worry? And what are you losing faith? And it's like somehow being in a season of depression or sadness equates that I've lost my faith or my hope, and that's just not true.
No. Well, God, we were created to have all of these feelings. They're important. They help keep us on target. They help us to be able to go inside ourselves and examine that and take care of ourselves.
Yeah.
And so it really is. It's a terrible, terrible, terrible thing to try to teach people not to feel their feelings.
Yeah.
Guys have been taught, don't feel, don't let anybody see you cry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I do feel more bad traditionally for men who have a much more difficult time. I mean, I remember after I lost my children, my girlfriends were exceptional about holding space for me to mourn the loss that I had. They were phenomenal with me. And, Topher just went and played golf and drank beer. And his friends, no offense, but they didn't know what to say. They didn't know what to do. And our healing and our grieving process, because of, I believe it had so much to do with the fact that whether I went to lunch or I went to work or no matter where I went, people were incredibly sensitive and vocal about how are you doing today, and holding space for my tears and my sadness and my grief. And, it was like back to the golf course and back to the office.
That's just terrible. That breaks my heart for him.
But in the long run, it was really hard on him because he was never able to really, the only place he mourned our children was at home.
Yeah.
And, I remember one time we were in the mountains, and this was after Louisa died. And we went to the mountains just to be together and grieve. And he went fly fishing by himself. And I knew where he was. And so I went on a long walk, and he didn't know I was going to meet him where he was fly fishing. And he was sitting, this makes me cry. He was sitting on a park bench by himself, bawling his eyes out.
Bless his heart.
And he had no idea that I was coming. And I would know more. I mean, I would cry alone, but
oh, but having that burden inside of him and being able to release it on that bench, that's like having all of that inside of him.
Yes. And I still think it's inside of him.
I'll bet.
I mean, and it just breaks my heart because so many of my friends and you as my therapist, I mean, my mom was still alive and she listened to me cry all the time. I had so many people who weren't afraid for me to be sad with them.
And to give you permission.
Mm-hmm. We need to be better. We need to be good at that.
We've got to allow our boys to do that and men. Mm-hmm. My dad was a crier.
I loved criers. I love men criers.
I mean, I don't remember my dad. I remember I had a cousin that when he was 12 died of cancer. And I can remember my dad boo-hooing like the up and down with the back and everything. But I didn't see him do that very often, but he would cry. I mean, he would cry joy tears and sadness, and he was just never afraid of it.
I love that.
Yeah, and which is amazing because he grew up on a ranch with 7 brothers.
That's amazing.
In West Texas, but he
wonder where he learned that.
Well, my dad was a very, very spiritual man.
Oh, you've mentioned that,
and I think that's where he got that.
Thank God.
Yeah.
All right, love
Side
that
note,
one.
Yep.
Good band name, Toxic Positivity.
Totally.
That is a good band name. Okay.
I'm actually glad you brought that up because we've all heard that word or that phrase before.
I have never heard that phrase till today, which is why it struck me.
I love it.
What?
That is a great band name.
It is a great band name. And it's a real deal. Stop with your toxic positivity already. Everything's amazing.
Yes.
Their first album is Everything Sucks.
Yeah, exactly.
It should be like some angry heavy metal band.
It should be.
Somebody's going to steal that idea from you, Tom.
That's hilarious.
Okay, Tom, take the last one.
Allow yourself to feel what you are feeling. Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, yeah, that's right.
That's it. Yep.
When you're going through a difficult time or faced with an unexpected change, give yourself permission to slow down and process your emotions. Ask yourself what you need right now to feel better. Talk to close loved ones about what you're experiencing, and allow yourself to acknowledge that the situation is tough. It's hard. At the same time, continue to move forward, giving yourself grace on days when you can't. Suppressing these emotions benefits no one, and they will eventually manifest in physical or psychological ways.
Preach
Yeah.
it. Preach
Love it.
it.
Yep.
Like you say all the time, Janice, this is why people get sick.
It is. It is.
Because they're just picking up their rug, sweeping the shit underneath it, and guess what? The
Doesn't
pile
go away.
It doesn't go away, and the pile makes you sick.
It does. It really
You can't
does.
live with all that shit under your rug and be well.
No, you can't. You can't. Oh gosh.
So how do you think as a person who's going through something, how do they find the balance of, if I came to you and I was like, I'm really going through this, I know I need to feel it, but I also don't want to dwell in it. How do I feel my feelings and yet live in a hopeful state that this is not going to last forever? How do you encourage your clients to find the balance of like grief and moving on, or sadness and moving on?
I think that initially you don't think about moving on. I think initially you give yourself full permission, as much as you need it, to have these feelings. And there's, if you look up feelings, I'm trying to think if I can name them all: sadness, joy, fear, shame, guilt, anger.
One of the new characters is envy.
Oh, envy. That's interesting.
Yes, and then there's grace. And yeah, I'm looking at the IMDb of Inside Out 2 because it's a list of all these things.
Well, there's these 8 basic feelings, and
Hurt, lonely, sad, anger, fear, shame, guilt, happy, glad.
Good.
I looked it up real quick.
Good. And so then you teach people what that's going to be like. First of all, you got to identify it. Well, I feel really angry. Now, for women, we've been taught don't be angry because, women get bitchy. And, so you allow yourself and then you express it. It's energy and emotion in your body. And so you get it up and out. You identify it. If you're sad, then you cry. You can lie on the floor and have a flopping 4-hour cry fest if you need to. Because once you identify them and express them, then, fear is a false experience appearing real or a future experience appearing real. So then you can allow that and then you can talk about it. Mm-hmm. But if you just push them down, they don't go away. Mm-mm. They're going to manifest in a larger way, which is what happens to a lot of men. Mm-hmm. And I think that is a precursor to heart attacks. Mm-hmm. And I think it's really important.
I think it's why men get seemingly more mad on the golf course, no offense, Tom, and traffic. It's like you see this rage and it's like it doesn't equate to what happened, and it's like, what's going on there?
Yeah. And rage is typically unfelt anger that has just been boiling and going around and around in your body and in your brain.
Yeah.
And so then that expression comes out as a blowout.
Mm-hmm. And you're like, wow, that was big.
That was big for that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I just, in this thing that I've in the 8 feelings, I like this because it has the feeling and then it has the impairment. And then it has the gift that can come with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So real quick, I'll run through them. Hurt. The impairment is resentment. And the gift is healing and occurrence.
Yeah.
Lonely, the impairment is apathy, and the gift is intimacy. Sad is self-pity, and the gift is acceptance. The feeling of anger is often associated with pride or depression and can turn into passion. Fear, anxiety, is the impairment. And, oh, dang it. Oh, I hate when I do that. And the gift of fear is wisdom and faith. Shame, the feeling of shame, is toxic shame and contempt. And the gift is humility. Guilt is toxic shame and shamelessness. And the gift is freedom and forgiveness. Glad is sensuous or sensual pleasure without heart. And the gift is joy.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Interesting, huh?
Yeah.
Go see the movie.
Okay.
And take all your grandkids.
I will.
They'll all love it.
Yeah.
This is a good one.
Yeah, it was really good.
All right.
It was fun.
Well, we hope this
Okay.
helps you have a more fabulous week, and we appreciate all of our listeners.
What you feel, you can heal.
Amen.